Hello, everyone. Lately, I see a lot of people on social media talking about Nigerian news. But honestly, most of them do not really know Nigeria. They are just reading small posts on Twitter, getting angry and reacting things to things they do not even understand. They don't even know the real history. This is why we need to talk about Governor Makinde of Oyo State and the presidency. Recently, Governor Makinde asked for something very simple. He asked for an independent outside investigation into how those school children and teachers were kidnapped and kept for 56 days. Right away, President Tinubu's spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, attacked Makinde. He said Makinde has a dark mind just for asking for an investigation. But ask yourself, why is the presidency so angry? Why are they attacking him? Look, Makinde is the governor, but he does not control the army or the police. He knows something. He is aware of things he cannot easily say out loud. The only way he can bring it out is by taking or asking for an independent investigation, and that's exactly why the government is trying to silence him. Let us go back to history. Nigeria is suffering from two major terrorist groups, Boko Haram and the bandits. But where did Boko Haram come from? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Let me put it this way. It was started through politics. The former governor of Borno State, Ali Modu Sharif, wanted to win his election. So he made a deal with the founder of Boko Haram, Mohammed Yusuf. He promised them that he would implement Sharia law if they help him win. He even appointed a Boko Haram leader, Bujifu, to be a government commissioner. And where is the governor today? Ali Modu Sharif was working free. And until now he's working free. He is on national television telling people to support Tinubu. Think about this. How can you send our young brave soldiers to go and die in the bush fighting Boko Haram when the very politician who helped create them is working free and having meetings with presidency? It is crazy. Our poor soldiers are fighting with their hearts, but the system around them is completely corrupt. Now, have you asked yourself where did the bandits come from? Have you ever asked yourself? Now, let's look at the second group of bandits. The second group, which is the bandits, yes. Do you remember a politician named Kawu Bareje? He was a very big political leader. He went on TV and confessed the whole truth. He said they brought in Fulani fighters from other countries like Mali, Senegal, Gambia to help them cause trouble and remove Goodluck Jonathan from office in 2015. What happened after they won the election? Now listen, they abandoned those fighters in the forest after they won the election. They gave them no money and no jobs. So those same fighters took their guns and started kidnapping and killing innocent citizens. It was a political game that backfired on all of us. Even the kidnapping of the Chibok girls was staged just to win election. Yes, even those time bring back our girls, it was all staged just to remove Goodluck Jonathan. Sometimes big police officers and politicians will tell you, "Oh, this insecurity is not about religion; it is just politics." But I ask them, "Are you the spokesperson for the terrorists?" Because the terrorists themselves say in their videos and handbook that they want to destroy the Nigerian government and force their own version of Sharia law on everyone. So why are our leaders making excuses for them? Nigeria is not fighting insecurity. It is all a big game. The politicians want you to stay quiet and celebrate small things while blood is flowing every day in Benue, Plateau, Odo, and Oyo. So Makinde know this. He is speaking up because he sees the truth. Until we face the politicians who create and brought these terrorists into our country, the killing will not stop. We must know our history and we must speak the truth. I don't have much to say. If you have watched the video to this extent, I believe you must have one or two things to say. Do what you
These incidents are sufficiently grave and unusual to warrant independent scrutiny beyond our domestic institutions. I therefore, with a full sense of responsibility as the executive governor of Oyo State, call on the appropriate international human rights and accountability mechanism, including those within the United Nations system, to closely examine the facts surrounding this abduction and the circumstances of its resolution. Such scrutiny is not intended to undermine our institutions. Rather, it is intended to reinforce public confidence that the truth will be established and that every person found to bear responsibility, regardless of office, influence, or affiliation, will be held accountable. Under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the primary responsibility for national security rests with the federal government and the security agencies under its command. The Nigerian people, therefore, deserve a full and transparent account of what happened, who was responsible, whether there were institutional failures, negligence, or collusion at any level, and what measures must now be taken to ensure that no community is ever subjected to such an ordeal again. This is not about politics. It is about justice for the victims, reassurance for our people, and restoring public confidence that every Nigerian child can go to school without fear. While we give thanks today, we must also remain vigilant. The threat posed by criminal elements has not disappeared. Experience from other parts of our country has shown that terrorist and bandit groups often seek to strike again where they perceive vulnerability. We must therefore not allow this moment of relief to become a moment of complacency. Security is everyone's responsibility. If you see anything suspicious, report it immediately to the appropriate security agencies. You may also call 615, Oyo State's toll-free emergency line for security and other emergencies. The vigilance of our communities remains one of our greatest strengths. This painful experience has also compelled us to rethink how we secure communities that border the old Oyo National Park. Under our Constitution, national parks fall under the jurisdiction of the federal government, and we respect that constitutional arrangement. However, constitutional limits do not diminish our responsibility to do everything within our lawful powers to protect the people of Oyo State. Accordingly, the Oyo State government will immediately strengthen oversight of all access routes leading into and out of the old Oyo National Park through our adjoining local government areas. We shall introduce appropriate measures to regulate movement through these corridors, improve community intelligence, strengthen collaboration with local communities and security agencies, and establish clear protocols that make it more difficult for criminal elements to exploit our border communities as safe passage or operational basis. Detailed implementation guidelines will be announced shortly. Leadership is ultimately measured not only by how we respond to tragedy, but by whether we learn from it and build stronger institutions afterward. That is the commitment we make to the people of Oyo State today. The reunion of these children and teachers with their families does not mark the end of this painful chapter. It marks the beginning of another responsibility, our collective responsibility to establish the truth. The circumstances surrounding this incident are sufficiently grave and unusual to warrant independent scrutiny beyond our domestic institutions. I therefore, with a full sense of responsibility as the Executive Governor of Oyo State, call on the appropriate international human rights and accountability mechanisms, including those within the United Nations system, to closely examine the facts surrounding this abduction and the circumstances of its resolution. Such scrutiny is not intended to undermine our institutions. Rather, it is intended to reinforce public confidence that the truth will be established and that every person found to bear responsibility, regardless of office, influence, or affiliation, will be held accountable. Under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the primary responsibility for national security rests with the federal government and the security agencies under its command. The Nigerian people, therefore, deserve a full and transparent account of what happened, who was responsible, whether there were institutional failures, negligence, or collusion at any level, and what measures must now be taken to ensure that no community is ever subjected to such an ordeal again. This is not about politics. It is about justice for the victims, reassurance for our people, and restoring public confidence that every Nigerian child can go to school without fear. To every parent across Oyo State, let me assure you that your government has heard your fears. We will not relent until every lawful step has been taken to make our schools and communities safer for our children. As the government of Oyo State, we will continue to support every lawful effort that strengthens our security architecture, protect our people, and bring every person responsible for this tragedy to justice. May Almighty God continue to watch over us. God bless Oyo State.